Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. We have former NFL and Patriots player and current defensive player for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, JaGared Davis is here. We'll talk all about his football journey growing up in Texas, playing with the Patriots, and winning a championship in the CFL. All that and more on this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. It's Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I'm joined by my good friend, James.
Hey.
Producer John's over by the camera. And we got a very special guest today. We got former NFL defensive player and also current Hamilton Tiger Cats defensive end linebacker, JaGared Davis. Welcome, JaGared. Nice to have you on the pod.
What's going on, fellas? Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for coming. Before we start, just wanted to check in from when we looked you up and started looking into you. We know that you're a big family guy. So how's it with quarantine and getting to spend a little extra time with the fam and all that good stuff?
Actually, I've been enjoying it really, just for the simple fact of usually around this time I'm already back in Canada. We done played at least 2 or 3 games, so just catching up on all this family time that I'm usually missing around this summertime. So it's actually kind of good, despite all the chaos that's going on right now.
Yeah. I was interesting because I was actually talking with someone the other day, and she's a professor at the school I go to, and she's a former she played on the USA soccer team back in the day. She's an athlete, and she was saying it's interesting. Part of her sabbatical she's going on is going to talk to different athletes about this time that they got to spend with their families, and it's very different. Like you said, you'd be playing 3 games by now, and it's interesting how it's a different feeling, I guess, right now, because it's something that we haven't been able to experience in a long time. There we go.
Most definitely. I mean, just for athletes, we're so used to being in a routine and going, okay, we know we have a time clock in our head, like, okay, around this time, I know I got to get in shape and ready for the season to start. And now, my whole timing everything is off right now. But I'm making up for it just by making the most out of every day I have, just being able to get the extra time with my daughter, my nieces and nephews, my mom, my dad. So it's good. It's bad, but it's good.
That's awesome. Now, to kind of get into about you, I know you grew up in Texas, and football down in Texas is it's supreme. It's like anything. It's not like any other high school football anywhere in probably the country, the world. It's huge down there. So can you tell us a little bit about that and your experience playing high school football in Texas?
Playing high school football in Texas was what you see on what you hear about. It's that 10 times 10. For me, growing up, it was nothing better than on Friday that 5 o'clock the whole town was shutting down. Everybody and their mom was going to the games. You had neighboring towns, police chiefs coming in to supervise games. Because it was like a big event. Everybody was coming out. I remember some of the guys approaching me talking about, look, I got my work check this week betted on the game. So I need y'all to win. I got the house note on y'all this week. And I mean, we look into the stands and I'm seeing 30, 40,000 people up there just going crazy on both sides. People standing outside the gates because the gym, the stadium is sold out. And just a couple years ago, I went to watch one of my former teammates. He was a coach for the North Shore football team, and they went to state. And they packed out the Cowboys Stadium. I think it was 80,000 fans at the Cowboys.
80,000?
To watch a high school state championship game.
Wow. Because I've seen obviously things online, but my first glimpse at what Texas high school football was Friday Night Lights, and kind of seeing that. And so it's pretty much like that. It's that the town is all everything is football, And then when they go to like the biggest thing is like state championships and getting to go to like you said, the Texans, the Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, like it's some. It's funny, but it's not funny. I know some high schools who facilities and stadiums are better than some in the CFL and college stadiums.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So I know you mentioned it. It kind of cut out. What is like a normal regular season high school football game like fans wise? How many people?
Normally I say 15, 20,000.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's nuts.
yeah.
That's got to be
Right.
awesome as a high school player, like playing in front of 15, 20,000 people. Like that's
It
like
is.
you're the pros.
And that's funny. It's funny you say that. Like, especially when you like one of the guys or the stars on the team. Like, you treat it like that, like a superstar. Like, the town caters to your every need. You get away with whatever you want, and it just what it's like is what you're pretty much born and bred into. And like, if you know that's the normal. If you're that guy, then you get that special benefits of being that guy.
That's awesome. Now, after high school, you went to SMU. Talk to me about that decision to go there. Why did you choose SMU?
Um, for me, like you said before, like I'm all about family. Family is big to me, and SMU which is located in Dallas, is only like 2.5 hours from my hometown. And when Coach Jones came down and spoke to me and my mom, and like he made it feel like I was leaving my family to join another family, which was the biggest thing for me. And it just everything fit, like the coaching staff. I was able to meet a couple of players, and everything felt right, and it felt like the best decision for me, and it worked out.
And is there? I know it's probably like it was so many years of like great memories. What is like some of the things that stand out about your college career? Like some of the great memories that you have from that time at SMU.
Um, I would have to easily say breaking the 25-year drought of not going to a bowl game, and actually having a winning season. Because like when I actually not committed, I didn't even know what their record was for previous years. And like not my cousin, my brother called me. He like, "Hey, congratulations, but they didn't they ain't went to a bowl game and such and such. Their record was this." I like, nah, I didn't know. But to go in and change the whole vibe and feel of it, going from an academic school to being known more for football again, like it meant a lot because like when I used to go to class and my teachers didn't care about nothing. And I say nothing about me being a college football player. All they cared about was I want my work turned in at this time. I don't care about what you got to do with sports, but it worked out. Like I really say this, being able to experience that and seeing like the school change like overnight, so to speak. Because when I first got there, I used to have more fans in my high school game than I did in my college football game.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
unreal. A high school game got more fans than a college football game. That's pretty nuts. And it's amazing to hear that you built that culture. You were part of building that football culture at SMU.
It's funny because like when I sit back and like talk with some of the guys that I play with, we be like, man, you remember we always reminisce on how it was when we first got there. Like, well, I say we used to have maybe 500 people in the stands at our game. To go to that, to go to okay, now we got 20,000, 30,000 for like our big robbery game against TCU. Like it was surreal because we used to go there like, all right, well, we just playing. It felt like practice at first on game day to now we feel like an actual college atmosphere, college game day, and all that. And like it felt good to be able to know I was part of something great like that.
That's amazing. And probably like it just kept building for you because after you graduated, you were signed with the Texans. Talk to me
Mm-hmm.
about, I mean, that's a dream that not too many people get to feel, that getting signed by an NFL team, especially
Mm-hmm.
being from Texas, signing with the Houston Texans, one of the teams in your home state. Like, talk to me a little bit about that. Were you a Texans fan, by the way? Sorry, before you get it, were you a Texans fan or were you?
Uh, I was a fan. I was just a fan. I've always been a fan of football, period. And a fan of teams that had great defenses. And at the time, the Texans did have a pretty, a legit defense at the time. And for me, like, as a kid growing up, like, I remember this like it was yesterday. My second grade teacher had went around the whole classroom asking everybody what they want to be when they grow up. And we had to reply back, I want to be this, I want to be that. So when it got to me, I was like, I'm going to be an NFL player. She's like, no, you got to say it with correct grammar. I'm like, but ma'am, I am using correct grammar. I'm going to be an NFL player. And when I finally achieved it, I ended up running into that same teacher like a year or so after that. And she's like, oh my God, you actually did it. You did this at the third. And I'm like, I know. That's why when I reiterated to her, like, I spoke correct grammar when I told you, like, you did. I'm so sorry. But it was a childhood dream come true. Being able, when I got that phone call and our team and the Texans said they wanted me, like they wanted me to be a part of something great. And I couldn't ask for anything more. Even though I went as unrestricted free agent. It was like that's every child's dream to be able to play in the NFL, be able to get that phone call and see your name go across the screen, and just for that to happen and see that number pop up on my phone, like I cried tears of joy. Like my mom threw a big party for me in my hometown. Like my hometown only has 8,000 people in it. So you can imagine, like, our home games would be all our fans and all the surrounding towns, small towns will come to the games too. But just to know that everybody's there to help cheer me on and celebrate with me, like, that was one of the best feelings.
That's amazing. And I kind of just put two and two together. You signed with the Texans, your first NFL team in your hometown. And I know being a family guy, you're not too far away from your family and you're like all within the same vicinity, which must have been a great way to start your NFL journey.
It was.
Talk to me about the jump, because from college to the NFL is a jump. What was some of the things that you noticed was sometimes challenging, like how it shaped you as an NFL player?
The biggest difference was everything happened that much faster. Like everything, basically, once you get to the NFL, everyone's big, everyone's strong, everyone's fast. And what really separates the goods from the greats from the legends, are the small things. And that's one of the biggest things I had to learn. Like once I left the Texans and went to New England, like they really told me how to hone in and pay attention to the fine details. It was turned into make the biggest difference in a game, and working on the techniques and being able to learn how to read, watch film, study your opponent, and know what I'm saying, gain those small advantages to help you get that big win in the end. And that was one of the biggest things I can definitely say I took for being with the Patriots, being under Bill Belichick, having Pepper Johnson as my position coach there, and it meant a lot. Just being able to learn from so many greats and pick their minds and understand just what it takes to be a professional player.
Now, I'm glad you brought up your time with the Patriots, because we're from New England, we're from Massachusetts, so we're big Patriots fans. We spend a lot of time talking about the Patriots on the podcast. We're fascinated because we've never talked to anyone that's been in that system. And especially being a defensive player, where New England's a very I know they have Tom Brady, but historically, Bill Belichick is a very defensive-minded person. You're the perfect person to talk to about this. So kind of talk to me, like what sets the Patriots different, and like what is it like to be in that Patriots system?
It's funny because like when I first left the Texans and went to New England, I was like, there's no way possible. But New England is a better team than the Texans because they had way better talent across the board. Like, besides that quarterback, obviously, but just looking at the talent wise, I'm like, there's no way. But what really set them apart was literally their attention to detail. Like that's the one thing. Like for Bill, and that's for the being on the Patriots. If you want to play for them, you have to know the playbook, but you have to know and understand it like the back of your hand, to the point to where you can almost go out there and call the game yourself because you know what the opponent's going to do. You know what the other team is thinking. You know the down and distance. You know, 2nd and 7, they like these type of plays on this side of the field, on this hash mark. Look for this, look for that. That's why, like, we had to understand all the intangibles to the point to where no matter what, you already predicted in your mind you only have 45 players they're going to potentially run. So it always put us in the best situation possible to be successful. And on top of that, like, which I know y'all are big New England fans, so y'all know New England hardly ever have self-inflicting penalties. Like, they don't have 8 to 10 penalties a game. They might have 3 or 4. And even then, there were maybe some outside penalties or something of that nature, but it's never no personal fouls or this, that, and the third. And that's why, because the Patriots, and their biggest thing is we'll never beat ourselves. A team will almost have to play a complete game to beat us. And that was always the situation, how we approach the game, game in and game out. And that was the philosophy. Like, if a team want to beat us, they have to play a complete game. If they don't, they won't beat us. And we went into every game with that mindset. And y'all know for being the Patriots fans for so long, it always worked. It hasn't. And if unbelievable, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's one of the biggest things that I know for me. Like, it didn't matter if you were the best player or this, that, there. Like, you knew the system, you knew, and Bill trusted you, then that's all he needed. And you was going to see the field for him. If not, you'll be on the sideline looking pretty with no stain on your jersey.
And that's something about the Patriots that I personally, like, if I wasn't a Patriots fan, I would be like, I love the Patriots for this reason, is Bill doesn't care about if you're the first pick in the draft or you're an undrafted free agent. If you're the best player that's going to help the team win, you're playing no matter what. It doesn't matter who you are. And I think that's what makes the Patriots so special. Everyone does their job. Like you said, they don't beat themselves. And it doesn't matter who you are. Bill sees that in everyone if you can help the team win. Go ahead.
My fault, but you're right. It's so funny because for going there and being able to understand, like, he always has the right players to fit in the right places, that fit their scheme, to fit their system. And you know what I'm saying, that guys that believe in buy in. Like, if you don't buy in, you're not gonna enjoy your time. Like, you gotta believe, like, I'm here for a bigger cause. I'm not here for my own personal game. I'm not here to get the accolades and this, that, and the third. Like, we all here for one common goal, and that's for the team. If you're not here for the team, then you won't be there long. And that's exactly how it was. And that's how the system went. That's what they started with from the first time I got there. And it didn't matter who you were. If you were doing wrong, Bill was gonna call you out of it. And I remember this like it was yesterday. My first day in our first meeting, we're in there, and Bill just rips Brady. And in the team meeting room in front of everybody, I'm just like, he just talked real aggressively to Brady, and I'm like, this is Brady you talking to. Like, this is, in my mind, this is Mr. Untouchable. He can't do no wrong. And man, like, one of my rookies that came in with me, I remember, matter of fact, it was Deron Harmon. We looked at each other like, bro, if he talking to him like that, how you expect he gonna talk to us? So we're like, bro, we made sure we said it right. We didn't say nothing. We had a piece of paper out, and it just worked out. I mean, we learned right then and there, like, Bill's not taking no slack for nobody, but that's what we needed to, you know what I'm saying, learn and be bred a champion.
And I think that's what makes you guys so successful is, like I said, it doesn't matter who you are. If you don't do it right, you're going to be called out. It doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady or the guy, some other guy on the team. It's like you're gonna get called out when you don't do something. I love those clips like early. This is more early like Patriots, but when Bill would be like screaming at Tom, like I can't stand it, Tom, run it again, or he would like call him by a different name. It was like it's so funny because on many teams, like you'll see maybe on the Chiefs, I don't know this, but with like the Chiefs of Patrick Mahomes, you may treat Patrick a little bit different than you treat some guy on the other team. Like you're gonna kind of not coddle him, but be a little kinder to him, I guess. So, and that's not the Patriots way. It doesn't matter who you are. You're gonna get, if you don't do it right, you're gonna get reamed out. On that, before we move on, you mentioned how you got to spend time with Tom and talked. Like, did you learn it? I know it's on a different side of the football, but did you learn anything from Tom early in your career?
I did. It's funny because like when I first got to New England, I'm like, man, I already know nobody. So when I walk in the building, the first person that greets me is Tom. And he walks up to me like, "Hey, how you doing? JaGared, my name's Tom Brady." I'm kind of fumbling on my word like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm JaGared. Like, I know all about you. I've seen your film. I think you'll be a great asset to the team. You need anything, just let me know. I can coach in the right direction. This, that, and the third." I'm like, man, Tom Brady knows my name. Like me, I'm nobody. I'm this, that, and the third, and just being able to know his locker was right there, and I can always go to him or he'll stop by mine like, "Hey, this is what we got today." Like because I was always we went against each other literally every day because I was always repping against somebody to play this linebacker against for this team, that linebacker. And he'd tell me like, "Look, this is what he kind of does. This is why he kind of plays me out. Can you do this, but also add what you do with your game into it?" And this will also help develop you to what to look for when you get on the field, how to understand the game at a totally different level. And he was always giving me nicks and knacks to help develop my mental game. Physically, you have the ability that the mental game was going to help excel you to that next level. You know what I'm saying? Be able to grow and know what to look for, keys and reads. And it helped. I mean, I kid you not, like my game grew with my short time there. So many leaps and bounds by knowing what to look for and just hearing what he was saying and what his progression, what he went through, and he like look at it because at the time while I was there, I was the inside linebacker. So he told me like, you're the quarterback of the defense. So you have to look at it in that manner. Like you have to break down each and every position, what you see, what you're looking for, the down is this, what to expect. You know what I'm saying? And then just counteract it and take away what I do well. And I learned from that. And then it helped me so much by just doing, you know what I'm saying, taking those 2 words and here and there, a few hidden gems he would drop me here and there to help develop my game and grow.
That's amazing. And I really like, I've heard stories like that. Tom is like will go up to be the first person to approach you in the locker room and introduce him. To hear that he helped spend that time is amazing. We even though we left and we're not the people that are salty, we understood. We actually said on the pod, like, I think like a week before, I said it would be crazy for him not to go to Tampa because it's like, what's down there? And we all support and love Tom. From your perspective as an NFL player, for the fans listening, what do you think what is a preview do you think of the Patriots season this year? What do you think? Do you think they're going to be successful? Do you think they're going to be struggle?
Honestly, I feel they still will be successful. That's one thing. Belichick forever. He doesn't, like I say, he doesn't. One person doesn't totally define a team. It's a team before I, and he always coaches and preaches that at all times. And for him, it's like the mindset is the next man up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the thing. And whenever we was there, we was always taught and trained, prepare like a starter. So when you step out there on the field, you will play like a starter. You won't play like you're a rookie. You won't play like it's your first time. So everybody's coached the same. Everybody's groomed the same. Everybody's prepared the same. No matter if you're the last guy on the depth chart or the practice team, whatever, you're still being trained and prepared with film study, the extra reps and repetitions mentally and physically in practice. So you know what I'm saying? So when the game starts, you're prepared no matter what may or may not happen. So I have no doubt the Patriots will still be the Patriots that everybody knows. They would have a great defense. They would still be a great time management team, and they would not beat themselves. And that's what most say, because of Tom Brady. Yes, Tom Brady is the all-time GOAT, go down as the greatest of all time, and he will truly be missed. It would not be the same at quarterback, but it would not be as big a drop-off as what everybody expects. They would still come out. I still expect them to win 10 to 12 games. That's not going to surprise me not one bit.
And that's funny because that's what I said. I don't think everyone's saying that they're going to go, at best 500. I don't see it. I think they're going to have 10 win to at least like around 10 games. And I'm not going to be surprised if they win more. I will be surprised if they win less. And another funny, not funny, but kind of cool thing, your former teammate, Jerrod Mayo, is now one of the guys calling the plays for the New England Patriots for the defense. How do you think, playing with Jerrod, seeing him now coaching at the not defensive coordinator, but he's basically the defensive coordinator in New England. How do you think he's doing? And are you seeing little things about like your experience with him?
I think he's going to do great, honestly. I really do. Just knowing how he was playing with him, and he was, like I said, he was a student of the game. Like, being able to sit behind him and watch and learn from his progressions, what he did, little nicks and knacks to help excel him and take the game to the next level. Like, I feel he's going to not be able to share that with everybody else. To help to further their progression, further their knowledge of the game. Because that's the thing, Mayo is a student of the game, so he understood the game at a totally different level. Like, it didn't surprise me why he was a Pro Bowler and why he excelled the way he did, why he was always in the right place at the right time. And to know from going to have one person like that to where now you can potentially have the whole 11 guys on the defense in that same mindset, like they're gonna go by leaps and bounds, and I have no doubt that he's gonna have their defense rocking like he was, and he was there. So it's gonna be good. I can't wait to watch him excel and do great things.
It really is. He was one of my favorite players watching growing up defensively. He was just always in the right spot. He was always like a team guy, and it was fun to watch him play. For you, after your NFL career, you went to the CFL, which is where you are now. Can you talk to me like what kind of led you to that decision to go in the CFL, and what was like your first few years in the CFL?
For me, like, cause I was bouncing around from team to team in the NFL, and it wasn't because I didn't have the talent. I just didn't have enough film, and that was like the biggest lack on me. Because every team I went to, they was loaded up at my position. Texans, they had cushion. I went to the Patriots. I knew they had Mayo, had Hot Towers, had Spikes, Jamie Collins. Then the lead there, then the go-to to the Chiefs, they had Derek Johnson. Every spot they was loaded at their position. So it was just one of those things to the point to where it wasn't no room for me to see the field at the time, which I was like, for me, I needed to go and get more film and just be able to showcase my talent. So the best way to do that was going to the CFL. And just so happened, they let me pass rush again. Something I didn't get to do since college, and something I always felt I had a natural knack for. And I just took accustomed to it, just being able to go get the quarterback. And it felt natural. It felt easy. It felt like it was second nature to me. But on the hardest things, it really wasn't hard, but a small adjustment was, okay, lining up a yard out the box, there being right on top of the man, understanding like the little nuances of the game. Instead of it being 11 guys on the field, it's 12 guys on the field. Instead of being the field is 15 yards wider, it's a halo around the punt returner to where you got to stay at 5 yards. You're a 5-yard grace period, a full circle around them. It was just small things like that you had to adjust to. And it took me, I'll say, halfway through the first season to really understand, like, at the end of the day, you're still playing football. So when the ball is like, see ball, get ball. And that's what made the game simplify and made it easy.
When researching you, you won a championship in 2018. What's that like to play for a champ? Like a lot of people don't know what it's like to play like a professional championship game. And just talk to me about that game and what was going through your head when you were playing and after when you just won and then like all your hard work paid off.
Man, honestly, it was a surreal moment for the simple fact of I've been blessed to. I've been in the city for 4 years. I played in the Grey Cup 4 years in a row, and when I finally won it, it was my third. That was my third time. So third time's like the third time the charm type, and just to be able to finally accomplish such a great feat, like it was pretty much like climbing Mount Everest because like the leader, you got there 2 years previous, and to fall short both years to the point to where like is it ever gonna come? Is it ever finally gonna happen? And to know that all our hard work, all our dedication, all our sacrifices, year in and year out, to finally be able to say we done it, we held up, we was able to host a great cup. You know what I'm saying? To get a ring, and you know what I'm saying, even go down in history. You know what I'm saying? Get our name etched in on the side of the trophy. Like it felt great.
And as you mentioned, you made it to the championship game before and didn't have the result that you wanted. What were some of the things you learned from those times that you brought with you each time forward to eventually help you win that game?
It was like I said, it was always the detail. Like being, it wasn't about being physically prepared. It was about being mentally prepared and mentally locked in and treating it like another game. Don't let the game get too big for you. And that was the thing. Like I felt happened to us this past year, especially being on a new team going with Hamilton. And we had the best record. We had all the talent, but mentally we wasn't prepared to perform on that stage. And it showed. Like guys wasn't ready to go out there and do what we did all year pretty much. And it was frustrating, but at the same time I relished in the moment and enjoyed it because I knew this is what the guys will need to when we go back. So we will go back, and to where they'll understand and know next time when we out here, this is what needs to be done for us to be able to succeed and host a good cup at the end of the game.
And you mentioned on your new team with Hamilton last year, in the playoffs, you had one of the best teams and lost. I think that's even more. Like, I think it's true. You guys are all going to learn from it. Like, the young guys on your team will learn from it. And I have no doubts you guys are going to win it next year. Or hope when you guys come back and play this next season.
I appreciate it, man. Whenever that be, whenever they open the borders back
up. So I guess that's a good segue for us. What are you – I know we talked about your enjoying your time with your family. What's next for your journey? Like any word on the CFL when you're going to start? Is there like any plans in the works to play? Like, I don't know.
I mean, right now, steady training, still staying in shape. Right now, they're saying right now the borders might possibly open up in sometime in July. And saying the earliest we might possibly be able to start would be September. So hopefully everybody's kind of hanging their hats saying hopefully a September start, like a half of a season, which is, in my opinion, still better than nothing. And just, you know what I'm saying, they're just trying to figure out the nuances and how they're going to do the stadiums and everything. And that's the thing, like, this is how football is big here in the States. Football is actually really big up there in Canada as well. It just doesn't get publicized and people don't hear about it as much because it's not the NFL. It's like the little brother to the NFL. So nobody really pays attention to the little brother till the little brother becomes a big brother. Yeah.
Like you said, I'm glad you mentioned that. Have you seen in your time in the CFL, because I know it does, like you said, it doesn't get that publicity. Have you seen a growth in it since the first time you played back in 2016 from now? Have you seen that growth in popularity in the league?
Oh, most definitely. I've seen the league grow so much more. That's why they've actually televised so many more of the CFL games since me being at 16 to now. So it like used to be impossible for my family and friends to find my game. Like they had to go through the internet to just come close to finding the game. Now they can look it up on ESPN or ESPN2, and they have a showing of at least 5 or 6 CFL games a week, or just they know within the months that we have at least 2 of our games on TV. So it's definitely a growth, and I feel it will continue to grow even more to the point where I can literally see them putting the CFL team back in the States again somewhere.
Yeah, I can't. I'm hoping because it's good football up there. I hope that. I mean, we're starting to see that in this quarantine because there's no sports really going on. Like we did a episode talking about Korean baseball. Like they're starting to televise those games. So I'm hoping like with the CFL, ESPN will play a couple of these CFL games because it's good talent up there. And I hope that we can get to see that because I think that's just all we need is like them to play it on ESPN. So you mentioned that going into this year, coming off the loss in the playoffs, the goal is to win a championship. What are some of the goals for you as a player going into this next season whenever we play, and also for the rest of your career? Like, what are some of the goals you have for going down this season and in the rest of your career?
This season, just like for me any other season, is to lead the CFL and sacks, be the sack leader. My big brother Charleston Hughes has led the CFL for I think 4 years straight now since I've been there. So I'm trying to. We always have a friendly rivalry going on. So I'm trying to finally dethrone him. I came first last year, and just to become defensive MVP. Those are some of the accolades I would like to achieve and accomplish. But more than anything, winning another Great Cup is like my top priority right now. I do that, everything else will fall into place. But that's my number one goal, is bringing a Great Cup back to heaven.
Awesome. And another thing, not to go back too far, but something that I heard in an interview, and we kind of touched on it. You're obviously a big defensive guy when you're talking about fans. Not to go back too far in the NFL. Did I hear that you were a 49ers fan growing up?
I was. I actually was. Jerry Rice was my favorite offensive player growing up.
I've talked, not to go back to the Super Bowl, but I was right along with you. I was rooting for the 49ers too. Obviously, New England were very big Jimmy G guys, but also like that organization, their history is so rich. Got to be disappointed, but what do you think? Do you think the 49ers are going to be back in there soon, like back in the Super Bowl next year? Because they were like, what is it, like 12-0 or 10-0 the first start the season? Like,
exactly. Honestly, I feel what the 49ers situation was similar to ours. Yeah, the season I had up in the CFL, and like it was the first time a lot of those guys was on that stage, and it showed. I mean, it wasn't like they were physically ready to play, but they weren't mentally ready to play, and that's what made the difference in that game for them. And that's what that really comes with experience and repetition and being put in that situation in the first place. So that not next year or the year after, but within the next few years, I'm secure. The 49ers will a Super Bowl, and because and how they will be because they went through those trials and tribulations the first time they went to help groom them and prepare them for when they go back, and they be more prepared to go in there and host the Super Bowl and hold it up over their head.
You heard it here first. JaGared Davis says the 49ers will win in the next 3 years. And I agree with you. I think that they have such a young team, and I think that loss will help propel them to learn from it. Before we as we're wrapping up, what is you're, like I said, you're probably our best expert for the NFL. What's your prediction for this year? Super Bowl matchup. What do you think?
Ooh, Super Bowl matchup this year.
We will play this back in when we get to February, whenever the Super Bowl is. We are going to play this and see if you're right.
Where's the Super Bowl at this year?
That's a good question. Where is it? Let's look it up. We got it right here. Let's look it up. Yeah. Yeah, producer, you can't hear him, but producer John said it's probably going to be in a dome somewhere
I can see that.
or outside. I mean, outside's not the worst. Atlanta. Is that right? Atlanta?
Wow.
No, sorry. Event. Miami event in Los Angeles will host the 2021 Super Bowl.
Mm.
Well, LA.
Los Angeles, LA. I can see it being my sleeper team would be Green Bay, but my front runner team would be Baltimore.
So you're thinking Green Bay versus Baltimore in the Super Bowl. Is that it? It's the Green Bay versus Baltimore?
Yeah.
I can see that. I think like Green Bay, when they just drafted quarterback in the first round, Aaron Rodgers, you're going to see a motivated, angry Aaron Rodgers this year. And I think he's going to be – I think if you, like, play some bets, I may put a bet on him to win the MVP because he's, like – he's just going to be he's already highly motivated, but I think this year he's going to be even more motivated. James, what is your prediction for when we're doing this? That's kind
we'll
of play
tough.
this back when the Super Bowl happens.
That's the problem. I don't know if I have a lot of trust in Lamar Jackson doing as well this year, but I kind of want to see the Ravens make it because it's been a while since they've been that relevant. So I'd love to see Ravens Chiefs, to be honest.
Well, Chiefs can't be. I'm talking Super Bowl.
So they're the same. I have to be then Ravens 49ers.
That would be a good Super Bowl.
Then that's.
I'm all about the story, and I have a sleeper team.
Who is that going to be?
I'm all about a good story, and I don't know if this will happen, but I want to see it. Yeah. I want to see the Bucks versus the Patriots. I want to see that story in the Super Bowl. I want to see Stidham versus Brady. I want to see Belichick versus Brady, and see, like, you know, everyone thinks like who's more important to that, which I think they both were dependent on each other. But that would be a heck of a story. Oh, producer John wants to give his prediction.
Real quick, I think I'm going with Bucks and Patriots. But before we move on to our people's topic, too, I had a question for you personally. I saw you played for the 2013 Houston Texans. Did you ever play with a guy named Brennan Williams?
Yes.
We had the same babysitter growing up.
Really?
I'm just like I've never talked to someone or met anyone that's played with them or really like had any close connection to him like I did. And I just kind of followed his career, and he's signed with the WWE now, which is nuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's throwing bodies around in there. That's all I had. I just wanted to
That's crazy.
It's a small world.
Very small world.
Before we get to our people's topic, is there any place like that people can find you, social media? Is there any plugs that you want to give for yourself, like where they can find you?
The biggest social media I have is my Instagram. Is the champ is here. Is THA_champ_is_here. And I also have my own clothing and shoes website is thechamp56. That's where you can find all my memorabilia, my shoes. I also have a couple more like tie cats colorways Champ 56 coming out. I also have my Great Cut edition Champ 56 coming out as well. So I also have like an exclusive secret pair. I'm gonna call the Peace Cobblers that's in the works as well.
That's sick. And I didn't know that you have your like a website for clothes. I didn't know that either. We're definitely gonna check that out. That's pretty cool.
I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, you cut out. Could you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
It's out on my IG page. I'm sorry. I said the link for like all the websites is on my IG page.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Perfect. We'll put on Instagram. If anyone listening, when we have our guest of the week post that we put out, we'll tag him everything, and so you can just click on it and find him right away. Before we finish the show today, we have always one of our favorite topics of the week, the people's topic. As always, we have our people's topic. You can write in and talk to us. Any questions, any topics you want us to talk about towards the end of the show. JaGared's going to join us. And without further ado, producer John, take it away.
Yes, sir. So this week we have two people's topics, both of them MLB related. Probably just coming off of last week's episode, very heavy.
Yeah.
First question comes from last week's guest, David_Griffin. Shout out, David.
Right.
Who do you think is the first Astros player to get beamed when baseball returns?
Ooh.
Who's leading off for their lineup? Who's leading off?
Oh no!
That's a tough one because I am a Astros fan. But
oh man, sore subject.
I'll have to say go with. That's all right. Probably Altuve.
Yeah, that's
yep.
That's who I was thinking.
Altuve. Yes. Yeah.
There's gonna be so much bad blood.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially because that video came out. Like everyone's thinking that he had a wire or whatever. I don't know if that's true or not, but it also I view him as like the leader in like face of the Astros. So I definitely can see that. But I think
because that's the thing for me. Like just looking at the whole team, everybody else is kind of like the good guy, so he's kind of the only standout kind of rebel guy on the team. So I had to say he'd be the guy somebody probably go after.
Yeah. I think everyone's going to get plunked by the end of the season. Do we think that every single person on that's a offensive player is going to get plunked? I think they could all I think they're all going to get beamed at some point, which is kind of scary. But next one.
Second question from @Brandono_15. I think that's how you say it. Will MLB and the MLBPA reach an agreement?
Yes. I think I actually. My fault for cutting you off.
No, go ahead.
Honestly, I feel they will for the simple fact, like everybody misses sports. I mean, me just like me being an athlete, you don't go put in all this work in the off season just to not have a season. So the players want the season just as much as the fans and as the owners do. Just finding the mutual agreement for the simple fact of since everything is going to be pretty much abbreviated and a condensed version of what it normally is, I feel there's got to be right for both ends, so where they feel like everybody's benefiting from it.
And actually, I think today was they had until today to make the agreement, like to agree to, I think it's like 5:00 or whatever, to agree to the current schedule that they proposed. So we'll actually, Brandon, I think we'll find out today. But I agree. I think they're close. If you asked me last week, I was like, I don't think so, because it was like they came out and the commissioner was like, I have no idea. But I think that they are. I think it's been working towards it, and we'll know by today. James, what do you think?
Well,
they have to come to an agreement at this point. They got to do something about it. And to be fair, there's been enough public outcry, enough public pressure where I think that really expedited this process to get something to happen.
Yeah.
If it wasn't such a big thing, like if there were sports happening, this probably wouldn't have been as big. But because it was one of the only big sports news coming out, everybody hopped on it.
Right.
And was getting mad over it. So, yeah, it's definitely helped expedite it and make it happen.
And like you said, I mean, everyone wants sports. The athletes want to play. The fans want to see it. So I think there's so much pressure to get this deal done. I think as long as it's fair for both sides, I think they're going to come to an agreement. But it was great having you on, JaGared. It was awesome meeting you. I love talking sports with you, and we'll hopefully get you on again sometime soon.
Oh, most definitely. The pleasure was all mine. Thank y'all for having me. Appreciate y'all. Hope I made what y'all wanted, what y'all were looking for, and definitely look forward to doing this again with y'all. So.
Definitely.
Appreciate it, man. As always, thanks, John, James, for joining. Be safe and have a great week, everyone.
Y'all do the same.